Okay, so the last thing I want to mention on the topic of inheritance is that it is possible to do two variations of inheritance. There's non-public inheritance, and there's also multiple inheritance. What we have always done in the inheritance examples we've done, such as this line of code right here, you will notice that we always made this stuff public. That is known as public inheritance. That's the most common way to do it. As you might expect, you can use the three designations we've talked about for classes. You can do them publicly, privately, or as protected. Um, Most of the time, uh, public is kind of what you're going to want to utilize. If you're making your own library of functions, you might want to designate stuff as private or protected. That'll make the it'll make them more restricted so that basically users can't inadvertently break the functions that you've designed. With private inheritance, everything is basically inherited as private members, which kind of makes sense. If you do protected inheritance, they're all inherited as protected members. And so you can make a new class and not make it seem like it's derived from another class. And so again, as you might expect, like you just replace the word public with either private or protected. If you do private inheritance, no part of the program, including the child classes, will know that the inheritance occurred. And with protected, the child classes will know about the inheritance, but nothing outside of the classes will know about the inheritance. It is a thing if you go deeper into programming and are trying to do more advanced things, you might want to do this in specific situations. Generally speaking, especially for beginners, public inheritance is the way to go. Like for most of the stuff you would be doing just starting out, making things public is probably going to make things far easier. Because if you make stuff private or protected, you can basically shut yourself out of stuff you then want to get access to. Multiple inheritance is also a possibility, though kind of like non-public inheritance, it can kind of create more headaches than it actually solves for you. Basically, what you can do is have a child class inherent from multiple parent classes. Um, a child in programming inherits everything from their parents. What you might do is you might want to inherit something from two different parent classes. So, like, you might have classes color and shape. Both of them might have a member variable name. So, you might have a name that's like blue and a name that's like rectangle. And then, if you try to have a child class call the name, the problem you can run into is, which name are you referring to? Are you talking about the name of the color or the name of the rectangle? And that's sort of where the source of the problems can emerge. You could have something where it's like kindergarten terms where you have a member variable name and like you've got child classes that both inherit the name. And so again, if you try to do red circle, you're going to have conflicting names. Are you talking about the name of the color? Or are you talking about the name of the shape? We have seen multiple inheritance. All the stream classes and objects that we've used in the past actually used multiple inheritances. All of them uh, draw from the parent class of the IOS, which is short for input output stream. The IOS basically splits into two subclasses. One is the O stream and one is the I stream. And C in and C out are basically the operators of or the functions of the input and output streams. After that, there's an IO stream that inherits from both of them. So basically, you have IO stream, it splits to iStream and OStream, and then comes back to make one thing called the IO stream. And then like the F stream for files and the string stream for strings, those inherit from IO stream. So that's one of the standard libraries that's in C++, and it does use multiple inheritance. But as I said, be aware that it's a thing and it's something you can do, but you probably want to get more advanced in your own programming skills before you try dealing with that. Here we've got just a final example here. I'm not going to go over it in an awful lot of detail just in the interest of time, but like here we've got the Everything Wrists store where they sell bracelets and wristbands and all this kind of stuff. And anyway, as you might expect, we've got a base class. It's got a default constructor that's blank, a non-default constructor that you can actually pass values to. It's got cost and sale price. And then here's a subclass for rubber wristbands, like those things that people wear to show they support some cause or other. And so it's also, in addition to having a cost and price, it's got a color and a message. And we've got this goofy thing of support bridges. Your life depends on them. So anyway, you've got all these inherited member variables in the child class that it also gains from the parent class. So you don't have to keep typing this over and over again when it's a common feature of all of your subclasses. So that's kind of the conclusion of the section on inheritance.